Hey, what's up? My name is Aaron Dunn. Thank you for checking out this video, How to Live Big in 2025, B.I.G. So I'm recording this at the end of 2024. I've spent a majority of this year writing and publishing the power acronyms, what I call power acronyms that I've created, curated, collected over the years. And all of these acronyms are designed to encourage you, enrich you, and empower you to live a life on purpose. Hence the name of the channel, Done on Purpose. And so these are frameworks from positive psychology, personal and professional development, and ancient wisdom. And I've either sourced them from other sources and experts, or I've created my own to help you live on purpose, to be encouraged, and to reach your potential. And so, without further ado, I'm going to run through this first one. It's the first one, so bear with me, but I'm really excited because I've got many more that will be coming over the course of 2025, and I've got three or four more planned for the month of January. So subscribe if you love language, if you love doing this type of stuff in terms of personal and professional development. If you like growth, you're in the right place. So thank you for checking this out. So let's dive right in. This is one that I created by myself after some thinking and note taking, and I just want to share it in this visual format. So I'm going to write it and I'm going to expound on some takeaways, some things, some stories, some anecdotes, some insights for you to think about. Maybe you can write notes along with me. And yeah, we'll see where it takes us. So how to live big in 2025. I've got big goals. I hope you do. If you're clicking on this video, then you probably do, or you want some. And so this is what I'm thinking about in 2025 to live big. So let's go. Big. So we're gonna start with B, obviously. And so B is for bountiful. And so bountiful, if you look it up as far as like a quick definition, I already looked it up for you, so you don't have to, is it stands for, or it means large in quantity. That's the textbook definition of bountiful. So think about things that are bountiful. I mean, blades of grass in your lawn, or a bountiful forest full of trees, or the sky is bountiful with stars. There's a bunch, there's thousands, millions, billions of whatever it is that you're thinking. So, bountiful, I chose this word because it's really important when you're starting your goal setting to think big. Think bigger than you typically would have. And it's okay to really stretch it out to the absolute maximum. Don't be afraid to take your goal that you said, okay, well, maybe I'll run more this year, to I'm going to run a marathon this year. That's one of my personal goals. So I'm just sharing a personal anecdote. And think about when you're thinking about goals, maybe putting them into these three pillars: energy, work, and love. I've got that framework borrowed from Heroic. You can see it on my hat. It's a wonderful personal and professional development platform. Anyway, think about, what could be more bountiful for you in your own life, in your energy, your health, your wellness. Is it a physical goal? Is it a nutritional goal? How could your energy be more bountiful? How could your work be more bountiful? What would that look like? A bounty of money, or how could it look in your love life? What would a bountiful relationship look like to your wife, your husband, your kids, your community, your coworkers? Think about bountiful, large in quantity, like that. And so that's where we're going to start. And I want to tell you a story just real quick. I'm not going to spend too much time, but there was a time as a runner, I mentioned that I run, that I only ran 3 miles. That was my cap. I had a lid on myself until until the day that I ran four. So I was always right here. And then the day came that I added one more to my regimen. And it turned out that I got there. I didn't get there fast, but I got there. And then it unlocked this whole thing. The ceiling was broken above my head, and I realized that wow, I can do 4 miles. Well, maybe I can do 5 miles. Maybe I can do 6 miles. Maybe I can do 7 miles. And then, weeks over weeks over weeks, I started to add plus one, plus one, plus one. And then I started to stretch myself to greater and greater distances. And so now I have done, I think, 14 or 15 miles at the top. And now I'm stretching myself to get to 26.2. I've got a marathon scheduled for 2025. That's in my energy. So, of course, when it comes to, my energy. So, but as far as like work goes, for me personally, I'm thinking about how can I get a large quantity of money, right? That's what everybody wants. They want more money. Maybe you don't, but that's one way to think about it in work. Maybe there's a big leap that you can make from, where you are in terms of your position, and you could become a leader in your organization. That could be a bountiful um, leap that you can make to live big in 2025. And then love, of course, love being, how can that be more bountiful? How can I spend a larger quantity of time with the people that I love the most? So keep this in mind as a mantra or something like that. This is borrowed from Nick Bear, who's big in the fitness department, but go one more. That's a, motto of theirs. And I refrain that. I use that as a mantra to say, all right, I can push myself beyond what I believe is possible. The new me, the new Aaron, is capable of so much more, at least one more, and probably even more than that. So that's bountiful. You've got to be of a bountiful mindset. Take it from one thing and then multiply it by 10. Grant Cardone, the 10x rule. Make it larger in quantity and figure out what you can do from there. Let it stretch you. Let this 2025 stretch you to a greater degree. All right, so super fun. Let's go to I. And so bountiful. Now we're going to say we want 2025 to be intense. So intense, what does that mean? So intense, and I'm just illustrating some arrows because I believe like intense. When I think about intensity, I think about pressure. I think about, oh my gosh, I got a lot of weight that I got to pick up. I've got a huge project that I'm working on. I've got to really dial in my focus and my schedule to make sure that I'm everywhere that I need to be for the people that I am in service to. So that's going to be intense. It's going to require some intense focus on my behalf. And so the definition of intense, so you don't have to look it up, is of excess, talking about big, force, degree, or strength. And so it's one thing to have bountiful goals, a large number, but when we think about intensity, like what is the excess of that? So maybe this bountiful goal of, 26.2 miles, okay, that's a lot, but I'm not going to do it very fast. Maybe you're ahead of me in the running game, for example. I'm just going to use personal examples today. Maybe you're ahead of me, but you can go faster. That could be a goal of mine. I could say, all right, well, I'm going to do this 26.2 marathon. I'm going to run a marathon, but one of my other goals is I'm going to get intense and I'm going to see how much more force I can put behind my 5K. How much more can I bench press? Where could I get stronger in 2025? And then we work the same framework of energy, work, and love. So I already said, hey, how can we be faster? You know, how can we be more faster? In work, how can we be more focused? And maybe in love, how can we be more focused as well? I don't know why I put F there. Um, so how can I be more focused on the people that I have loving relationships with? You know, intensity is all about these two things. If I was going to frame it up in kind of two phrases, like how can I do what I already do in my energy bucket, my work bucket, and my love bucket, my relationships? How can I do that at a higher level? So, what is it that you do, and how can you make it a higher level? Or what are you already doing that you've got dialed in pretty good, but you can actually double down? And so, just kind of using these arrows again as a theme, how can you take whatever you do now and up it to a higher level? Because I know it's possible, because it is possible for for you, for anyone, and that higher level is 100% yours. You don't have to compare yourself to anybody else. And then, how can I double down? So it's a 1v1 game. It's you versus you. So put some intense focus and work into figuring out, okay, how can, if I want to live big in 2025, what zone, where am I going to put more intensity into this year? All right. So we've got Bountiful, we've got a year of intensity, and this year is also going to be a year of grandiose. This is a beautiful word that doesn't, you don't hear it very much. I'm going to put some kind of majesty behind this just for fun. So, grandiose, grandiose. Now, the definition for grandiose is impressive and imposing, which is a great word too. So I think about this like imagine yourself going to a cathedral, right? It's not just a small town church, it's a grandiose church. This thing is a spectacle. And you can think about how, over centuries of time this thing has been built up and the generations of people who have visited and prayed and worshiped there. Another example might be a mountain range. That is grandiose, especially compared to the, flat prairies of East Texas where I live. When you go to a mountain vista, you say, wow, that's grandiose. That's impressive. That's imposing. Oh my gosh, there's awe. And so, not to be, I'm making a distinction between, bountiful and grandiose in that there is a large in quantity with bounty, but there's also impressive and imposing. So, think about what would be impressive to you this year in 2025 after you go through 365 days. What would be like you looking back, you're going to reflect on your year, in a year, and you're going to say, man, that was impressive, man, that was imposing. I really didn't know if I was going to make it, but I did. And so this could be anything. It could be again a health goal, like maybe you go from 400 pounds to 300 pounds, something like that. Maybe grandiose, impressive, imposing is just getting off the couch. Maybe it's, making that decision to say, you know what, I'm going to quit sugary drinks. That's impressive. Uh, you know, what can you do? I'm really interested in what that looks like for you. So leave it in a comment. I'd love to have your feedback. In work, what can you do that would be impressive or imposing? I don't want to do imposing in a vicious way, maybe in a virtuous way. What would be, wow, that's kind of intense. That's kind of like grand, like, man, I'm going to be the top guy in my company, the top gal in my company. I'm going to be the top company in my region, in my market. That's grandiose. That's impressive. And so, of course, these we're talking broad general strokes here, and they can all be dialed in terms of specific actions. But this is just a thinking exercise, thinking practice. So where could you go that would be grandiose in your goals and lead to astonishment? After you complete them, people go, wow, I can't believe you did that. Man, tell me about that. Tell me the story. Where did that come from? And, that astonishment is a standard to make if you are planning to live big, B.I.G, in 2025. So if it's your if it's your fitness goal, your nutritional goal, make it impressive, make it imposing. If it's your work goal, do the same. And then in love, like what would an impressive and imposing relationship look like? Like, man, how could you turn your relationship with your kids, your significant others, with your family, with your local community into, man, that's impressive. I'm so impressed that you got all that done, or the type of presence that you have with other people impresses other people and inspires them to say, you know what, I could probably do something similar. So I hope you enjoyed this first power acronym, how to live big in 2025. Let me know what your bountiful, intense, and grandiose plans are for this year. I look forward to it. Let me know what you think about this power acronym, if you're going to use it and how you're going to use it, and we'll see you next time.